Okay. Hi guys, am I audible? Online team. So online team, please give response so that I want to test here speakers. So if anyone, so I'm going to enable your mic. So please, we will test here. Okay. Audible, right? So I'm going to enable. Can anyone please give the response so that I can enable your mic? Nagarjuna. Okay. I'm going to enable your mic. Nagarjuna. So Nagarjuna or Nagaraju? Nagarjuna. Okay. Nagarjuna, can you please
Yeah,
enable your, sorry,
hi sir. Hi
enable,
sir. Good
yeah,
morning.
yeah, okay, okay. Hi, how are you, Nagarjuna?
Yeah, I'm doing good, sir. Thank you. What about you, sir?
Yeah, I'm also good. Thanks for asking. How is your movies?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
good, na?
yeah, it's good.
It's good, na? He's saying he's good. You are from?
Uh, I am from Hyderabad, Telangana.
Then why you are joining online? Why can't you
Yeah,
come offline? See, Kiran Kumar is saying waiting for Manam 2 movie. I'm also. I also, seriously, it's a very nice movie. Hello, Nagarjuna? Huh? Unmute. Unmuted. Huh? Okay, let's check now.
yes, sir.
Okay, what about this? Only one is working here. Okay, so okay, all good. Thank you so much, Nagarjuna. So I'm going to unmute you. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. So guys, today is a very important session. It's a real-time session. Yeah, always Nagarjuna. My favorite hero is Nagarjuna. That's what I choose. Okay, anyway. So guys, so far we discussed, let me share my screen first. So we are in big version, that is Kubernetes, right? So in the Kubernetes, a lot of things are there. Okay, so first you need to practice commands. Okay, how to get the pods, how to get the nodes, how to describe the pods, how to describe the nodes. If you know 3-4 commands, we can easily practice with that help of all the commands. So kubectl get pods, kubectl get nodes, kubectl get svc. So everything is same like that only. If you want to describe kubectl, describe pod, describe node, describe svc. Okay, SVC means service. Okay. Okay. So the one very important is today. One is for ingress concept. So the ingress, what is ingress? Okay. Kubernetes ingress. I mean ingress controller. What is the use of the ingress controller? What I can do, let me take the, yeah. So what happened? Okay, if you can see this is ingress flow. This is ingress flow. So what we can understand. So guys, for example, for example, okay, first before that, what is the difference between network load balancer and application load balancer? Layer 7 is what? Yes. Layer 7 is application load balancer. Okay. What about layer 4? Layer 7 is application load balancer, right? What about layer 4? Network load balancer. What is the other difference, main difference? Yeah, that is protocols also. Okay, anyway, let me write uh, HTTP protocol. So this is TCP protocol. Okay. Next, the important one is there. The important difference is there. What was that? The very important. Very good, Harshal. And Ramesh also. So, network load balancer, application load balancer will give support path-based routing. Path-based routing. Path-based routing. Network load balancer, it will not support path-based routing. It's a very important step. So we need to understand. So you have a multiple applications. Okay, multiple applications. For example, microservices, electronics, clothes, kidswear, something. So in your load balancer URL, if you can give /cloths, it is redirecting into cloths application. Again, load balancer / whatever electronics, it is redirecting into electronics. So network load balancer, it will not give support kind of path based routing. For example, two applications are running. Two applications are running, electronics and cloths. Okay, if you can go here. So the common load balancer URL, for example, ELB URL. Okay, ELB URL is there. This ELB URL, if you can give electronics, okay, the request, it will go to electronics. So if you give cloths, it will go to cloths. Okay, so the kind of activity it will give support app load balancer, application load balancer, but network load balancer, it will not support. Okay. So, but Kubernetes, the resource type, sorry, service type. In Kubernetes, we have a three type of services: cluster IP, load balancer, and node port. But the generated load balancer is not application load balancer. It will not support path-based routing. Is this clear? So in our service, load balancer type will not support path-based routing. So whatever is service types, if you are selecting here, load balancer service type, so one ELB will generate. That ELB will not support for path-based routing. I mean, if you want to configure the same ELB, different applications, it will not support. Okay. So now Kubernetes definitely requires some help. I mean, Kubernetes is unable to, unfortunately, it is unable to support multiple path routings by default. So your Kubernetes, so not supports multiple path routing. So in that case, definitely we need to use the ingress concept. The ingress concept is to support multiple routings of your different applications. Flipkart, we have a different applications, entertainment, clothes, tickets. So in that case, definitely you need to create each application, each load balancer. That is not at all good. Understand? In this case, 100 applications are there means 100 load balancer is not at all good. So the project is same, create one ELB, map the path, different configurations, ELB forward slash electronics, ELB forward slash clothes. Here ELB is same. You need to routing like give every application one load balancer. That is not at all good. So to reduce the complexity of the network, we should depend on ingress. Okay, ingress. So if you can see this ingress, you can easily understand. So in this ingress, yeah, see, you have a two different applications here, pod 1, pod 2. This is the service. If you use directly service without ingress, so definitely you should give this load balancer either this pod or this pod. The reason it will not support different parts. Load balancer service will not support for different parts. If you create from the service, if you select from in the service AML, select equal to load balancer, it will not provide multiple paths routing. In that case, definitely we'll need some help, that is ingress controller. That is ingress controller. This ingress controller will help to enable the path-based routing to create a one load balancer. First, it will create a one load balancer, and this load balancer will give help to enable different paths. Here, you need to understand one thing. This ingress will help. This ingress will enable the feature to give the path-based routing. Okay. If there is no ingress feature, if you use directly load balancer, maybe you can use this pod or this pod, not for both. Clear? This ingress, so we should use the some third party providers are there to provide ingress controllers. So this is, so if you can go for the Google list of Kubernetes controllers. Okay. See, different controllers. Okay. Let's go here. GC. Recently, AWS also started controller, ingress controller. You can use the directly create load balancer. So that load balancer, they will provide some controller. You can create that controller. We can give the access. But very popular one is Nginx controller. Okay, Nginx controller is very popular. We are using. Okay. See these many. First is the important is Nginx and HA proxy ingress. Okay, envoy ingress, traffic ingress, F5 ingress. Okay, so many controllers are there, but you are using Nginx ingress. Okay. If you can see this one, Nginx controller. Okay. So if you can see this, my project, if you can see, where is ingress in this architecture? So simply guys, load balancer means what? Receiver ender. I mean, we can give the access to public. You can see where is the public here only, right? What is this? Route 53 DNS service to, I mean, load balancer URL, you can map with your DNS name. What is this? This load balancer create from where? Nginx controller. Understand? So Nginx controller create a one load balancer. This load balancer will give support for multiple applications. If there is no Nginx, it will not support multiple path routings. We should stick on only one application. For example, front end, back end is there. The first request will go to front end, then redirecting to back end. So two different applications. In that case, we can manage by using only one ingress controller. Okay. Yeah, very good. So guys, from this architecture, what we can understand, first we need to deploy what? First we need to deploy application. Okay. And then ingress controller. First, we should deploy ingress controller. That controller enable the feature and create a one load balancer. It will map. Okay. So for example, let's go to just let me log in. Okay, already logged in. So okay, better I will show in this GitHub. We'll get a good clarity, visibility. Yeah. So if you can see ingress here, okay, we have a path1.ml, path2.ml. If you can go for path1.ml, my application is Nginx. My application is Nginx in the path1. So definitely this path1 routing to cluster IP only. If you are using ingress controller, we are not using any node port load balancer service, right? Understand? Ingress controller will provide by itself load balancer to communicate your two applications. In that case, if you enable type is load balancer, type is node port, again, load balancer also create in this application, not required, right? So my path is path one is Nginx. Next path two is HTTP image. I'm taking that. This is path two. Again, path two service is only cluster IP, internal communication only. For external communication, we are using what? Ingress controller. Ingress controller will give the load balancer. That load balancer can take care to communicate these two paths. How? Let's go to service. See this ingress service, if you can see path one, if it is go for path / Nginx, it will go to Nginx. Path / HTTPD, it's go to HTTPD. If you're not giving any path, only / I mean, only URL, it just goes to HTTPD. I mean, we can control to give like this way. No need to give this one. Just an okay. I mean, what we can understand. So from this controller, one load balancer will create. That load balancer will support this three type of paths. Understand? So let's go here. So you have a two applications. You have a two applications. One application is Nginx. one is HTTPD. Okay. So guys, for example, without ingress, if you want to give access, what we need to do here? We need to create a service file. We need to create a service.aml for this Nginx. We need to create a service.aml for HTTPD. And this service.aml, you need to select either node port or load balancer or cluster IP. So whenever you can give the service.aml, if it is a load balancer, users can access Nginx by using load balancer. If it is a node port, so users can access by using node port, right? Same thing here also. Users can access by using node port or load balancer. Is this clear? But we need to understand here how many load balancers will create if you select service type equal to load balancer? Two load balancer. In that case, 50 applications, 50 load balancer since 50 applications run on same project. So what Ingress is saying that, so if you configure 50 applications, 50 load balancer, the complexity is it's very difficult to manage the network. Okay. For example, if you want to do some configurations, you need to apply for all the 50 applications configurations for 50 load balancers. That is not recommended. So whatever the costing else, it is going to increase, right? Load balancer costing is increase. 50 load balancer, definitely we need to pay for more. Instead of that, what we are doing, we can create a one service file. Understand? We can create a one service file. Yeah. Instead of that, we can create a one service file. In this service file, you need to define my path 1. So path 2, no path, direct only. I mean, this kind of activities, it will not support your service first of all. Okay, without ingress, that's in your service, you can define for your pod, either node port or load balancer. In your service, we should not define, we cannot define paths. For example, if you go for my service, so this is load balancer service. The load balancer service, I can give only for match the labels. We cannot give the any path. If my path is one, go for this pod. If my path is to go for second pod, I cannot define here. Okay, I cannot define. In that case, definitely this service is not help to link with multiple applications as per the path. So then in that case, what I can do, definitely I should depend on any ingress. So ingress service will support instead of normal service will support only one-to-one, but ingress service, there is a feature to support multiple paths. Support to route multiple paths. Is this clear? So in that case, we need to define an ingress service paths. Okay, if first path, second path, third path, no path, you need to define here in your service.ml. Is this clear? Okay, so if it is a path 1, it will go here. If it is a path 2, it will go here. So this service, you can give public access. So you can give public access. I mean, we need to configure Route 53. Okay, in the Route 53, we can give the public access. Okay, guys. So now, okay, Ingress service, we need to define paths. But to work with ingress service, we should download controller first. Ingress controller. If you in your system, I mean in your mission, if you download ingress controller only, that ingress controller will support ingress service. Understand the prerequisite to write ingress service.yaml. First, we should download ingress controller. Ingress controller only will give the support to ingress service. Otherwise, it will not work by default. That ingress controller is Nginx ingress controller. Understand? So definitely I should use download controller. So I'm using Nginx here. We have a different controllers, but Nginx controller is a free tier, open source. Okay, no need to pay for that, but you need to pay for only one load balancer cost. Nginx controller will create one load balancer mapping all the paths. That load balancer cost you need to pay. That is going to create in AWS only, right? So ingress Nginx controller. Clear now? Yeah. Yes, exactly. Okay. So first, what I need to do to start this practice, what I need to do first? Yeah, first I need to download controller, ingress controller, and then write a service.yaml. Before that, make sure your applications scripts are available. So this application YAML is already available. One is for Nginx, one is for HTTPD. So I'm taking public images. In your case, you can take two projects or two applications, just only changing the images only. Okay. So then we need to write ingress.service.yaml. First, it will go for if the path one, if it will go for this one, path three, it will go for this one, like that. So if you can go to my GitHub to download ingress controller only, this line. Anyway, okay, let's go here only. So first we need to deploy ingress controller by using this one. After that, you can deploy ingress service. Okay. So let's go to my server, connect here. Okay. Let me connect this. Okay. So CD Kubernetes, my name. So CD day 5. Okay. Sorry, not this one. Okay, ingress. Day 5. Okay. Sorry. CD day 5 ingress. Okay. So ls. What is not connected here? Let me switch to shit. Day 5 ingress. Okay. So ls, if you can see my end, different path that YAMLs are there. Same. There is no difference here. No changes here. Same deployment YAML. What we discussed over the deployment YAML. So you should create a service, but type is cluster IP. If you are using ingress controller, no need to enable any node port and load balancer type. By default, ingress controller will give you one load balancer. That load balancer will communicate your service.yamls. Is this clear? And same thing VI path 2. See, if you can see here. Yeah, if you can see here, in place of Nginx, we have a HTTPD. Same cluster IP. So VI ingress. So if you can see here, yeah. Yeah. So if you can see here, if I give path 1 / Nginx, okay, it will link to service name Nginx. In your YAML, there is a service, right? If I give path HTTPD, it will call to HTTPD service. So that if you can go here, VI path 1, VI path 2, my service is what name? HTTPD. And my service name is what? Nginx. I mean, your ingress service.yaml will link with your YAML services. Understand? It will not link directly deployment. Understand? So let's come here again. Yeah, this is service name. This is service name. The respect to deployment already there right here. The respect to deployment already there here, right? This is service name. Your ingress service, if it is a path 1, it is go to this service. If it is a path 2, it will enable to this service. Okay, that service is redirecting into your deployment. It will give the result back. Okay, so now let's go here and start the deployment. But before that, what I need to do? Download the controller. Download the controller only. Ingress service.yaml, it will work. Otherwise, load balancer will not create. We'll get an error. So how to download? HTTPS to here only. Install ingress controller. Don't take this one also. It will not work. So copy. What I need to do? kubectl apply -f, give this path. Okay. I mean, in this location, there is a YAML files to deploy your controller. You can deploy from the GitHub also. Your YAML just update into GitHub, kubectl apply -f, give the GitHub URL also, it can deploy. Same thing in this GitHub location, Nginx controller related YAML files will be there. I'm applying means, if I apply means the background pods, services, everything will be created. Why? related YAML files will be there in that. See the extension deploy.yaml. So we are deploying. This is enter the location. If you deploy YAML, the background, whatever configurations will be there, everything will be deployed into your project location, project directory. Okay. See, these many services, role, cluster role, config map, services, deployment, these many are configured the background to give you ingress service enable option. Understand? Yeah. Now you can check kubectl get pods. Okay, so kubectl get pods, get ns. What is ns? Namespace. So let me check on which namespace it is created. I think kube system -n kube system. See, these many pods are running the background to give the ingress controller option. Okay. Sorry. I think ingress nginx. Ingress nginx. Let's go to my Kubernetes nodes. Okay, anyway, we'll check one by one namespaces. These are not kube proxy, kube system, kube public ingress. Okay, let me check the kubectl apply ingress nginx only. Yes. Okay, this is the namespace. Okay, ingress nginx. So whenever you can apply, the ingress nginx namespace will be created. Where is nginx ingress? Yeah, nginx ingress namespace will be created, and the respective pods will be created, the background, but it is showing 0 by 1. We'll see. kubectl get pods -n ingress -nginx. Okay, so nginx controller is running anyway. Okay, nginx controller is running. So now you can deploy your YAML files. First, we need to deploy a service file and YAML files. Okay, so kubectl apply. So I can give dot, right? So it will apply for ingress.service YAML. It will apply for path 1, path 2 also. Created. Now kubectl get ingress. See, 9 seconds. Ingress is created, right? Ingress is created, one load balancer. That load balancer already configured 2 different paths. Who can take care? Ingress service that take care. Okay. Now go and give here. So this is okay. I have to copy. This is the list of YAML files. Before you have applied, right? Kubectl apply -f. This is the path. So let's go to my this. I'll just copy. This is the load balance. That is a wrong path. Control V. See, it works. Means what? HTTPD. So if I give here nginx, it will go to nginx path. Okay. If I'm not give anything, if I give HTTPD, it will go for HTTPD. So we can do modifications also. Let's come here. ls vi ingress.aml. So if you can see if it is a Nginx path, it will go to HTTP service. Okay. So ingress class name Nginx. So if I give Nginx path, it will go for Nginx. If I give HTTP path, it will go for HTTP service. So what I can do here, I will do the changes here. If path is Nginx, it will go for HTTP reverse. So I need to change my service name only, right? So if your path is Nginx, you just contact to HTTP service, not Nginx service. In that case, what I can do? Give HTTP. And the default action is what? This is the default action. There is no path here, right? This is HTTP path. This is Nginx path. This is no path. No path means which service? HTTP service. That one also I can change now. NGINX. Okay. What I need to do? Apply kubectl, apply -f, my ingress.aml. Configure. So now by default action is what? By default action is Nginx has to work. It will work. Let me take Control C. Okay. By default action is Nginx. If I give Nginx path, whatever you give in HTTP, it is redirecting to HTTP service. If your path is Nginx, you should redirect into the service of HTTPD. Sorry, service of HTTPS. You just configure like that. If you can see here. If your path HTTPD, you should communicate with service of HTTPD. If your path is nothing, you should communicate with Nginx service. If your path is Nginx path, you should communicate to HTTP service. So definitely, if I'm giving this path, means definitely the service should be created before, right? The service is already created before. If you can go and check vi. Yeah. See, my label is what? Nginx. Your path label is Nginx. You should communicate for this service. Okay, this service, whatever it is that it is going to communicate. Understand? Based on your path, the path is going to link with your service. Clear? If you have any confusion, just observe the changes, do the changes, different paths, and study the YAML file carefully. You can easily understand with your YAML file experience last 5 days, right? So this is ingress controller. Anyone has any doubts on ingress controller? In this case, let me show you my project that is yet to complete. This is yet to complete, don't clone, it will not work. So in this case, my Kubernetes manifesto files are there, right? My Kubernetes manifesto files, backend, database, frontend. See ingress.aml. My ingress.aml, see, same, it will be same. No need to give path, what I said here. See, we can go here, not here. So let's check here. No need to give this one. Okay, just for expressions only. So in my case, I'm not given anything here. So if my path is API, it is redirecting into backend. If there is no path API, it is redirecting into directly frontend. Okay. See here, if my path is API, the service is backend. If my path is frontend, my service is frontend. Understand? So usually everyone can give the directly only URL only. Users will not give any path, right? Flipkart.com. It is redirecting into Flipkart frontend first. So my application, if I give my narni.co.in, this is my domain name. Understand what you need to do whenever if you deploy your ingress controller, one ELB will create, right? That ELB URL you need to map with your domain name. That is, in my domain name is narni.co.in. In your domain name, you need to create one domain name. That domain name you can configure. You can access directly domain name. Understand? Whenever I just give the narni.co.in, my request will go to where? Front end or back end? Front end. If I give / API, it will go to backend. Anyway, backend will not give any result to you in the UI. It is just redirecting into inside your application configurations. Understand? Anyway, in our project, we'll discuss in detail. Just for concentrating ingress, how it will work in Nginx controller. Okay. And one more thing, here we can give ALB also. ALB controller also there separately. Like ALB also providing differently controller, like Nginx. We can create ALB controller also if required, but better go with Nginx is a popular one. Okay, Nginx is a popular one compared to all. Is this clear? Any questions online team on the ingress? Okay. If you are okay, means we'll jump to next topic. Okay. Any questions? Offline. Kindly spend some time explaining YAML files. Okay. See guys, you need to understand one thing. YAML files, you need to practice. The deployment.yaml is common. It will not change. Service.yaml, it will not change. See, I have already explained enough time on YAML files. If you remember on a Thursday, I spent entire time on only YAML files. Okay, given time for 4 days to you. Anyway, let me explain one more time. Okay, you need to understand one more thing. No need to write any YAML file by your own way. The deployment.yaml anywhere is available. Everywhere is available deployment.yaml. You can go Kubernetes, that they are also available. Copy paste only. What you need to change in that? Your image path only. Understand? Anyway, let's focus once again. So in any YAML file, guys, we have a API version. Any YAML file you can take. And this is for first you need to remember. Okay, API version. And next is kind. If it is a deployment. If it is a service. Here API version is V1. In the service, API version is V1. In the deployment, API version is apps V1. Okay. And kind is here deployment, here kind is service. Now, metadata name, Nginx. You can give any name, no problem. Metadata is name of your application, pod. Whenever you deploy a pod by using deployment, kubectl get pod. We can see Nginx name of the pod. Service YAML also you can give. Whenever you can give kubectl get SVC, we can see the service name, right? The service name will fetch from here. Is this clear? Next. So this is deployment. Deployment, what is the benefit of deployment? Definitely we should what? We should define replicas first. Pod, there is no option to define replicas. Whenever you can create a pod.yaml, so only one pod will be created. In the place, so first you can learn the pod, then deployment, how to write. Service no, and replica set no need to understand. If the deployment no, just a change in place of deployment, you can give only replica set. This everything is same. Only changes will come here, replica set. Clear? And then spec. So definitely the deployment replica set will offers replicas. The replicas comes under spec. So here you can give 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. It's a static deployment, static replicas. And selector, match labels, app Nginx. So you need to understand here, this selector you can write here also. And the end you can write here also. So this selector match the labels of app nginx. Okay, and template, metadata, labels, app nginx. What is the difference here and there? So this is for, this labels is for deployment labels. Okay, this selectors is for select the service label. Selector means definitely we are going to give our service labels. Metadata and inside metadata template, if it will comes means metadata means data about the data about the deployment. My deployment data is what? My deployment data is my name is Nginx. My labels are, my metadata labels are app Nginx. Okay, so my version is apps v1. Okay, what is your target? When you can give the service to enable to public, if you configure service, I can give access. How you can interact based on the selector labels. This selector label should be there in your service. See, what is this? Metadata name. So you can add here metadata labels also. That is for service only, not for interact with the pod. This is for selector, app nginx. This is for selector, match label selector, app nginx. I mean, match labels means I'm going to match the labels of service selector. Understand? Any questions still? Okay. And the very important one, if you are clear means I'm going to explain the network concept here, port numbers concept. So we have a 3 type of ports. One is for node port. When it will be available, enable, when you can give the service type is node port. Is this clear? And the second one is target port. What is a target port? Your application default port number. If it is Nginx 80, if it is a Tomcat 8080, if it is a Jenkins 8080, default port number. In between 2 ports, we have one more port, just normal port. That is service port. Okay, service port, target port should be same. Understand? Yes. Come to my PPTs. See here. Let me explain here first. Is there any confusion for this slide? First one is what? Main is deployment, right? Deployment will provide replicas, right? This is the replicas. Replicas will give the pods. Clear? Deployment is a higher level. We are using deployment only. So you just ignore this replica set. Okay. Why replica set will not support rollbacks, rolling updates? Deployment only will give deployment and pods. These pods will create based on the replicas. Clear? Is there any doubt? Clear? So the replica set will create a number of replicas. Deployment will control the replica set. Replica set will control the pods. On the deployment, see rolling updates, rollbacks. Replica set, self-healing, scalability. Pods. Clear? What is this? Incoming request. By using what? Node port. By using node port, it is enter into the cluster. The cluster, we have a pods. By using service. What type of service? Node port. What is this? Same. One more service type is a load balance. Traffic is coming to cluster by using load balance. What is this? Same load balancer. But what is the difference here and there? Here and there? Same service. Here, different services. So ingress will allow to these pods and these pods. Now service. What is service? How it will communicate if it is a node port, if it is a load balancer. Okay. See here, this is my laptop. Okay. To communicate, this is the pod. This is the pod, right? See, POD, pod. Inside Python application is there. So each pod will get one IP and it will allow enable based on the default port only. In the Docker container also, by default, the container will run default port number to give access -p, give the required port number, and it is linked to target port number, enable the access, right? Here also target port is fixed 80. How I can enable this port to outside? In the container concept, we can directly enable on host IP port number. So for example, your Docker is running in your EC2 instance, you can give enable the some port number. You can map the port number following your IP. The port number already linked with your target IP so that container can access. But here it is not like that. Here service concept is there. In container, no service concept. Here we have a service concept. In the service concept, we have a 3 types: node port, load balancer, cluster IP. If you want to give access to public, we can use load balancer or node port. So node port is not recommended. The reason you are giving access to directly IP, node IP. That is not recommended. So always we are using load balanced. What about cluster IP? Cluster IP is internal service communication. We can use. And that load balancer will support only any one service. It will not support by default different paths, service paths. So that we are creating ingress concept. Ingress concept will give support. Ingress also will communicate through services only. Clear? Now, if you enable node port, the range would be 30,000 to 32,767. Any port will generate the number. What you need to do, how to access that? Take the port number. Which IP you need to take? External IP. Not for your main EC2 instance. That is for interaction only to your cluster. So take any one of the IP and give the following port number, node port. You can access. How the request will go here to here. Understand? The request enable node port. This is what node are your main EC2. Your cluster node. kubectl get nodes -oy. You can able to see list of worker nodes. Take the worker node IP and give the node port. You can able to access, not for main EC2 IP. Once again, I'm saying that. And how this is communicate to this pod? By using service. See, whenever you write a deployment.yaml, you should write service.yaml. This is the service.yaml. Whenever you write the service.yaml, in the service.yaml, you should mention the port. The port should be same as your target port. Is this clear? What is your target port? For example, 80. So port also you should write 80. So node port, target port, just port. Target port is related to application. Node port is related to access. Just normal port is for service port. Understand? So the right side, if you can see here, this is the YAML file, service. In the service YAML file, type is what? Node port. If you give node port :3008, definitely it will be created same port number if you define. If you not define any node port column, you just remove this row, no problem. System can give any default port number in between this range. Is this clear? The last step. And next is what? Target port, port. Target port means what? Application port. What is this port in between? Service port. See, if you can see, service port is 80. So the request will go to enter into 30008 port, and through service, you should enable same port number 80 Okay, from here to it is allowed to 80. For example, one more application is running. The port number is 81. The port number is 81. If you enable normal port also 80, it will not work. You are indirectly saying, please give through 80 port number to give 81 access. It will not, it is not possible. Understand? So you are coming to access application port is 80, right? You should come through same port number in the service. If you can see, my target port is 80, right? Service also should enable same port to you. You should enable that. If you enable 85, it will not work. You can try. Understand? For example, now my target port is 3000 or my target port is 1000. So definitely my port should be 1000. And node port, your wish. In the range, you can give anything. Clear the 3 ports. In interviews, can you explain about the different ports in Kubernetes? So node port, service port, normal port means service port, target port. Node port range is 30,000 to 32,667. And application port is default port where the application is running. And service port is same port, it should be run. Whatever application is running on the target port. Is this clear? Okay. See here. Node port. Make the service available to network request from the external client. Node port 30163, if you can give access service via external port number. And see 80 target port. If you can see 80 port number expose internal in a cluster. If you can give 80, if you can give 80, it will take same. Target port, sorry. Target port. Port the container as listening on default port. Clear? So if you can see the request, how it will come. The request is coming to first external. What? Request is coming to external. This is what? Node port. And go inside 8080. And it is enabled to 80. Enable to 80 target port. And here. This is what? Just now we discussed. Ingress controller. Service. Pods. This is what? Ingress manager load balancer. Whenever you can apply ingress, it will create ingress manager load balancer. This ingress manager load balancer, you need to define to communicate with service. For that, you need to write ingress service.yaml. In this ingress service.yaml, you need to define which path need to access, which application need to access. You need to define in service.yaml. Understand? Or any confusions? I will share this PPT to you. Don't worry. And in this case, so the port is 80 I have defined. See, there is no node port here. If you observe, it will take by default node port. If I give selector type is node port. If I give cluster IP, it will not take any node port. Clear? So if you can go for my project. Okay, this is cluster IP now. Okay, almost. If you can see, my port 3000, my target port always should give same port numbers. This is what? Node port. If you define what is my node port 30,000. If you not define, it will give the by default. Understand? So go for backend.yaml. Service. Port is, target port is what? 5000. What is the port number of 5000? Yes, Flask. See, target port is 5000. Service port also 5000. Understand? This is what? Cluster IP. So no node port. Internal communication. Clear so far? Okay. So, okay, we don't have much time. So that what we can do. Yes, right, Arun. So what we can do, I will discuss one topic to you to understand first the rollback concept. Okay, guys, just concentrate. So I have a two EC2 instances. I have a two EC2 instances already running. You configure auto scaling group to create, to provide high availability. If the traffic is more, we need to create servers. So what is the source for the auto scaling? Template, right? Launch template. What is the source of launch template? Image. What is the source of image? Already working EC2 inside an application. So did you all complete Git paper? Hmm? Yes, sir. You don't know Git paper given at least? Huh? You don't know? Super. Anyway, guys, please disable Telegram notifications. After 2 months, again, you can ask me, sir, can you conduct test series? Like one girl, right? Same thing happened yesterday also. Let me show you. Why you guys are doing like that? Hmm. So yesterday, Wednesday, right, May 15th. So she asked me, I don't know her name, sir, when you can conduct Git exam? Already Git paper shared 6 days before. She asked me that, sir, when you can conduct Git exam? That's what other Srilata something shared the Git paper here. Like that, don't do that, guys, like that. Use the opportunity. So whatever I'm preparing the questions is real-time based only. Hmm. Okay, L, B, load balancer. Okay, so this AMI is, for example, guys, 1.1 version. Just understand. Now these incidents all are 1.1 version. Okay. So this is coming from source EC2, right? Yeah. Still, if you are facing any issue to understand Kubernetes, you can call me, no problem. Okay. You can call me in weekends. We can connect and we can explain also. So this EC2, guys, from the EC2, we can create a image. That is what? AMI image, Amazon Mission image. From that launch template, LB and auto scaling group will launch the new instances. Now you tell me, guys, one more AMI created with the different version. So now two versions are there. Two versions are there. This image is 1.2. So next time onwards, you need to deploy 1.2 version EC2s only, not for 1.1. What is your approach? Hmm? Launch template. So launch template, no need to create one more launch template. We can create a version. There is a version in the launch template, right? Yes, we can create a launch template version. Excellent. Okay. So create a version. Create a version. Tell me guys, okay, if I create a version, so I can select launch template version also. Now tell me next what I need to do. Till launch template, yes, you have created version. Next, what I need to do? I need to give access for new version only. Tell me. Hmm? Tell me. In auto scaling configuration, there is a one step, right? What is that? How you can give launch template access to auto scaling group? While creating auto scaling, there is a launch template step. In the launch template step, it will ask select the version. Remember or not? Let's go there. See, for example, if you select, we need to select the version also. Okay, if you select new version, what will happen? No pods, we are in EC2. Okay, new EC2 will be created when, if the demand will be more, new EC2 will be created. For example, now how to replace 1.1 version with 1.2 version? Tell me, existing EC2 instance. Hmm? Very simple. Understand? The two instances I need to replace with new version without any downtime. New when it will create? There is no traffic now. If the traffic is more, third one will come new version. Yes, I can understand. Now there is no traffic. Then what I can do? Huh? Rollback update means we have to. Okay, anyway. Okay, guys. Guys, if you tell me one thing, if I delete one server, what happen? Nothing will happen. New instance will come. Which version will come? 1.2. Now, how many instance? Two. One is for 1.1, one is for 1.2. Now, this is make it 1.2. Okay. Now, two versions are accessing users. This particular time you have created new instance. Why this is deleted means immediately auto scaling group will create one more instance. This time it will create new version instance. Why launch template you have updated into auto scaling group. Now it is working fine. Yes. Then what I can do next? Delete this one also. Again, this one also create. Simple. This is called ramp down process. Understand? Instead of delete two servers, you can delete one, delete one, up new version, kind of roll back, rolling updates. Sir, immediately you can delete two servers. What happened? 15 minutes, definitely 20 minutes, your application will be down. But to do this process, what you need to take care? Traffic. When you can perform this action, what? Half hours. Yes, exactly. Okay, you should not do in demanding hours. Maybe we don't know immediate demand will be more. Even though no problem, immediately auto scaling will be create a new server. So when the traffic will be less, at that time you can delete one. The rest of the traffic will divert into the remaining server. The reason load balancer is a what concept? It will enable failure routing. Whenever you remove this one, load balance will send traffic to only healthy server. So no impact on your users. And meanwhile, auto scaling will group new instance. Okay. Same concept we can learn tomorrow by using Kubernetes concept. By using Kubernetes, we can create a pods, how to manage the pod, new versions, old versions. We have a different deployments, canary deployment, blue-green deployment, rollback deployment, recreate deployment. Which deployment is good, we can discuss tomorrow. Is this clear? Yeah. Any questions? Very good. When the traffic is low. Arun Kumar Reddy. Any questions, guys? So we're almost about to complete the sessions. I think only 7 to 8 days is left. Okay. So after you complete your training, still I'm going to give support. So we are planning for multiple projects. Okay. So one project I will discuss here. Remaining projects, I will give the documents. I mean, remaining projects means if I like any project, new approach, I will make it a document I will give you. You can practice it. See, if you can see here, in very detailed way, how to create IAM user from the start to from the scratch to end, everything with screenshots. You can easily understand the doc. You can easily start the process. So this is my links of the Jenkins job file. So what plugins you need to install for first, and which command you need to run in Jenkins. So, and how to create the credentials, what kind of credentials are required, and output of the your project, and EKS and config project integrations, so Sonar integrations, everything from the scratch for all the tools configurations. So I will give the document kind of thing, and end of the result, everything. So you just start the practice. If you do one project, you can easily do multiple projects. The reason is same approach: Sonar integrations, Docker integrations, Kubernetes integrations, same pipeline, no changes. Only changes will come your Docker file only. Coding, so source code, it is not our responsibility. It is a Python code, write a Python Docker file. If it is a Java code, write a Java Docker file, and build process, push easier process, and run the Kubernetes and configure the Argo CD. Enter process is same. Okay, understand the scenario here. The Kubernetes and DevOps integrations for all the tools are same. Even any programming language, the changes will come in the Docker file. Even the Docker file, you and developers sit together and write it, not for only alone. You don't know what kind of dependencies you need to add, right? So you and developers both can sit together and write a Docker file. It is not for only DevOps engineers. Both developers and DevOps engineers. Clear? I mean, DevOps engineers, the instructions, which instructions you can use, add instruction, CMD instruction, that you need to define. What kind of dependencies need to be added, developers will give. So both can sit together, just one or two where you can write a Docker file. That's it. The rest process is same. Configurations, plugins, they're all same process. Clear? Yes, DB integration also. Ramesh, yes, DB integration also. It's not a static projects. So whatever projects we discussed till now, whatever the hot stars we give, these are just front end only, static. It's not a dynamic. Whatever process, static and dynamic, 90% is same. The 10% is DB integrations. It will cover here in this project. So if there is any project, the DB related information, it will help to do the other projects. Okay. Here challenges will be how to communicate front end to back end to DB by using Kubernetes. I will show you in the very easy way, so you can easily understand. Clear? Very good question. Nagaraju, I supposed to discuss that. You tell me how to achieve high availability node. That is taking care by auto scaling group. Whenever create a cluster, one auto scaling group will create, right? Okay. Okay, I will show you tomorrow. We don't have much time. Whenever create a node, if you can see, one auto scaling group will be created. It's a Mumbai, right? Okay. See, EKS auto scaling group. So click on that. Hey, not this one. Click on this. desired, minimum, maximum. So if you want to increase the nodes, simply you can give here minimum, maximum. It will be applied. So it is a managed EKS cluster, right? Whenever, if you can give nodes maximum for, if the node will be down, automatically one more node will be create with the same data. You can try, you can delete one node, immediately will create one more node. By it is in the auto scaling group handover. Same thing, one EC2 will be deleted, immediately one more EC2 will be created from the auto scaling group, right? Yeah. What is this? See, launch template. Who created this? EKS. Understand? EKS created on launch template. That's what one YAML file will create everything. No need to do in your configurations. That's what it is, an orchestration tool. Clear? Okay, that's all for today, guys. Don't miss coming classes are very important. If you miss the projects, you are unable to understand the projects. So we have closely 7 to 8 classes. After that, we'll go for project. If you're interested, we'll conduct mock interviews. And as I said, Route 53 also will discuss. After complete the project, Route 53, we can configure the load balancer URL. Okay. If anyone interested, give your names to me personally. I will take mock interviews. Same kind mock interview, same like a real interviews. I mean, real interviews may be easy, but this mock interview may be difficult. The reason, as I said, we can prepare like that only first. Okay. If I ask what is EC2, what is Terraform, what is CI/CD, if I ask like questions, may you feel, oh my God, I know so many things. Definitely I'll crack the job. But it is not like that. I will show difficult areas first. In interviews also, I will show difficult areas. Don't disappoint. First time you can come, maybe fail. Second time you can come. I'm ready to take interviews, no problem. Third time, sir, next, can we try? Sir, again, can we try? Whatever, I'm ready. Sir, this Sunday we can try again. Sir, next Sunday also we can try. Like that, be in touch with me. I will take always the interviews. Okay? Yes. Perfect. Bye, guys.